Good day, folks, and welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic. I'm your host, Neil Johnson. If you're new to the channel, remember to subscribe. We've got a great group of people over here. So, if you haven't seen what's taking place on X, Chuck Schumer is trying to take on Elon Musk. Now, Elon went on to Fox Business and said something today that's got a lot of people in a panic mode, and maybe you're one of those people. So, he's talking about Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and everybody's saying, oh, Elon wants to cut that. No, that's not what he said. So I want you to listen closely to this clip, and we're going to talk about this afterwards and then show you what Chuck Schumer said not too long ago.
The waste report in entitlement spending, which is which is most of the federal spending is entitlements. That's like the big one to eliminate, because that's the sort of $500 billion, maybe $700 billion a year.
So here's Chuck Schumer's tweet. He said, so that's the big one to eliminate. The richest man on earth yet again claimed that Social Security and Medicare are riddled with fraud and abuse. He's lying. We won't let him take away the benefits that tens of millions of Americans have earned. So what he's saying here is that there's not all this waste, fraud, and abuse, because if you look at what Elon said, he's not talking about cutting Social Security. He's talking about cutting the waste out of it, because that's where the big one is. So if you're going to trim fat, you've got to find out where the fat is. There is no other program in the federal government that's as big as these programs. So if you're going to cut fat, you've got to go where the fat is. That's what Elon's getting at. But to show you just how disingenuous Chuck Schumer is, check this clip out.
About a third of all of the spending that's done in Medicare, Medicaid, I would imagine a lot of it's in the private sector as well, doesn't go to really good health care, goes to other things. And the real nub of this is, how do we wring that waste out, that fraud, abuse, duplication, without interfering with the good care that we want every person on Medicare, Medicaid, and private insurance to get? The average citizen knows this happens. How many times when you look at your medical bill, you've undergone a minor procedure, and you see Dr. Smith, $4,000, and you sort of vaguely remember he just waved and poked his head in the door? If we're going to eliminate the waste, fraud, and abuse in Medicare, it does mean we're going to cut some of that out. And when I hear my friend Dave Camp say, you cannot cut money out of Medicare, well, we don't want to cut the good stuff that you point out, or add the prevention. But if we're going to, if what Senator Coburn says, that 1/3 of Medicare doesn't go to patient care, you can't just get up there and say, we don't want to cut anything out of Medicare. We want to cut the bad stuff and keep the good stuff. And I think that's where we can find common ground on some of the things you've mentioned, some of the things that are in our bill. And I hope at least in this area we can move forward that way, because frankly, the Republican Party has always stood for getting rid of the waste, fraud, and abuse in the system. In '97, it was the centerpiece of your program. And all of a sudden this year we're hearing, don't do any of that. That's something that I think we can come together on. I thank you.
So Chuck, in the last 15 years, waste, fraud, and abuse have been eliminated as the government has grown by trillions of dollars? He's completely lying to you. He's accusing Elon Musk of lying, but remember what Democrats do. They project. That's why we call them projectocrats. He is telling you exactly what is going on by telling you that Elon Musk is lying. What he's saying is he's lying. So, no, they talked about how 1/3 of this wasn't going to patient care, and he talks about the doctor sticking his head in the door and so on. And that stuff all happens, and that's what Elon Musk is talking about getting rid of. Look, if anybody's paid into these systems, they should get their money back out of it. But I will tell you plainly, if you had invested that money that they were yanking out of your paycheck and put it into your own retirement savings, you would be light years ahead. And everybody knows that. In fact, I was sitting there lobbying back years ago, like, just keep all I paid in and just don't charge me anymore and I won't ask for anything. But that's not because they want to control more money. But this is more of that class warfare that the Democrats play to so often. So here's another really valuable clip I want you to see, because as they're telling you that Trump is doing all of these things to tariff you, and that's going to cost you more money. That's the new line. All of a sudden, corporate taxes were good before, and somehow that wasn't going to cost you more money in the products. But now tariffs are bad because that's going to cost you more money in the products. But what Trump is doing is playing the long game, which is getting manufacturing back here in America And this is wild because this is one of these European companies that's now investing in America to avoid tariffs.
What are you going to be doing in that shiny new plant behind you?
So this plant behind me is producing switchboards. So if you want to electrify a data center, you need switchboards. And this is a huge demand. Each customer has a little bit of a different one, and this one assembles really perfectly to the quality needs switchboards for data center customers, but they go also in other places.
Can I just ask you for some clarity here? Are these bolt-ons or additions, add-ons to existing plants? I just want it to be clear for our viewers.
This is a very new plant. So we have another plant nearby in Grand Prairie. This one in Fort Worth is a brand new one. We, along with Bonoma, we invested almost $300 million. This will create 900 new jobs. These are new capacities which we are building up to serve the demand of our customers, which is increasing, as you can imagine, because data centers are mushrooming because of AI technology, needs all that compute, and we are taking care that they can go up and running.
I just wanted to tell you, as you know, the big word of the day here is tariffs, and President Trump has threatened very seriously to slap 25% tariffs on all European goods coming into the United States. He calls them reciprocal tariffs. Does your build out here in the United States help you dodge some of that or mitigate some of the pain from that?
Yeah, it does, definitively. And I can understand the logic, which is all fair, having a level playing field, that's good. Bringing manufacturing back to the United States, creating jobs, that's good, but also having technological leadership, which is the motivation behind. So I can tick the box in all aspects. Sometimes the speed is a little bit of a challenge because you need to relocate manufacturing. That takes a little bit of time. But we did that in the past, and we will continue to do it in the future. So we are local for local. Our local for local value add sits on 85 plus %, and we continue to do that.
Okay, don't kid yourself. Trump's policies are going to take a little time to work out. You do realize that, right? So everybody's excited about the stock market, right? Well, the rich people are excited about the stock market. Remember Main Street versus Wall Street. Just keep that in mind as you look at this. But right here, you can see a chart on eggs down 11.26% in the last week. That's huge, folks. For everyday Americans, that's Main Street versus Wall Street. The other thing is private sector businesses. So look at this. Not only are border crossings down 93% since Trump took over, gas prices have hit a 4-year low, again helping consumers in areas where they feel it most. Egg prices, that equates to $1.80 per dozen. Job growth down or up. It's 93% job growth in the private sector where it needs to be, not the government sector where they've dumped all this money. Again, don't expect to cut $1 trillion out of federal spending and not experience the pain. But the pain will be experienced long term if we keep printing the money. Okay. Also, if you look at this under Biden, eggs were up 35%, bread 25%, dairy 23%, gasoline almost 40%. You feel that every day as you drive. Airfares 21%, electricity. Everybody has to pay electric bills. 27% it was up. The average real weekly rate wages were down about $1,000 under Biden because of the increased expense of everything. And the wages weren't keeping up with that. So they'll try and get you to point at the stock market and go, oh no, look at the stock market, it's terrible. No, the stock market was artificially inflated due to the printing of money. I don't understand how people don't get this. That money has to go somewhere. And when interest rates are so suppressed, where are people going to put the money? They're going to put it in the market. They're going to take the risk because the reward of putting it in a savings account is what? 0.5% or something silly like that. So this is the things that we are going to go through this next year. It's going to be a little bit of a bumpy ride, but we're going to win in the end as we bring jobs back home. Remember to go check out my sponsor who does have a lot of jobs here at home. That's MyPillow, MyPillow.com. Use promo code Lumberjack for big savings. They still have the $9.98 Roll and Go pillows. See you on the next episode. Peace out.